Happy New Year.
I'm a rabbit, Jen, so it's supposed to be a really good year for me in the year of the tiger.
Oh, that's great, Dave.
I
I thought tigers eat rabbits. I thought tigers eat.
I hope not to this time.
They don't seem like natural friends.
I think Susan had a reminder just now, but in case you missed it, please rename yourself with your full name and your local number, or your locals and the number. That would be really helpful for us. Thank you, Ken. I see that you've done that.
All right. I think we can turn it over to Madam President now.
Okay. I know Jennifer already said it, and maybe I'm the late starter, but you know, I know we start off January looking as if nothing changed from 2021, but I think it's looking up. It's going to be what we want it to be. So I think it's still safe, regardless of what's happening, for us to still just to say Happy New Year to each other. The fact that we are here and we're breathing and we're able to extend to the others that need our support. So that's still something for us to still continue to say Happy New Year. So, you know, I'll say Happy New Year again to all of you. And I just also want to say, as we do look back at, we wrap up January month, my goodness, another virus that's just spreading around fast as we can blink. It's spreading, and at the same time, I think it's really important for us to just to take care of each other, and as we weather this storm, you know, it's not the first one, but again, we need each other. We need to support each other. The healthcare sector that's out there braving a lot of this, have no choice. That's what work is about. The education workers that are out there facing, and many of you that are on the line tonight who don't have a choice, you have to go out there. And whether it's work or it's going into the supermarket, it's still about us taking care of ourselves. So, you know, let us do it together. We are in February month. And again, like just to look back and some of the celebration, just to ask for you again to help me recognize our Tamil union members who just finished celebrating the Tamil Heritage Month. Help me recognize them, you know, and as Jennifer said, Happy Lunar New Year. Everything is happening faster than we can imagine, and we still, again, have to, whether it's the good or the bad, to take them and to embrace and celebrate each other's heritage as we go along with this. So tonight are going to be a packed night. Again, I want to say also that January 29th, and wow, like it seemed like it's still the 29th. It's a month and a date that a lot of us won't forget. It's still about us continuing to fight hate. It's about it's a month that we also look back and reflect on about where we are at this point, and as we see what happened when it comes to hate, the victims in Quebec, mass that was murdered. You know, we did ask Brother Mohammed Hashim, former organizer from Labor Council. He's now the executive director of the Canadian Race Relation Foundation to speak, and he wasn't able to, unfortunately, able to join us tonight. But we just want to continue to want you to continue to recognize the struggle that we have, and as labor movement, to as we address racism in our workplace and in our communities. It's all about all form of racism, including Islamophobia. The more we take on this fight, it seems like we are going backward, but we can't give up. So I just want you to not to think that the 29 is gone. We see some of the things that's happening right now, which the confusion, and also seeing that we can't take our eyes off of the fact that hate is just rising and looming out there. And whatever we have to do, we have to call on the haters that's out there, that we're not backing off of it. So again, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here tonight. I am very happy. I know, as I always say it, we could be anywhere. You could be anywhere. The weather that's out there depends where you are living. Again, you could be snuggled up somewhere with just a coffee, and you're here. And I appreciate that you're here with us tonight, and that you continue to give us the support. If we have to do this on Zoom, the job need to get done. So again, before I move on further, I want to call on Sister Jinky to read the harassment statement.
Good evening, everyone. The harassment statement. Mutual respect, cooperation, and understanding are strongly held principles of our trade union movement. We will neither condone nor tolerate harassing or discriminatory behavior that creates an intimidating, hostile, or offensive environment and undermines the dignity or self-esteem of any individual. An injury to one is an injury to all. Speech or conduct which is racist, sexist, homophobic, or discriminatory in any way is unacceptable to a trade unionist and only serves to divide us. Our policies and practice must reflect our commitment to equality as we work together for a justice and dignity in our workplace and in our unions and in our communities. Thank you. Back to you, Sister Andrea.
Thank you very much, Sister. And next I'll ask Brother Jeff Irons to do the land acknowledgement.
Thank you. We are meeting under traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the New Credit, which was subject to the Dish with One Spoon Treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. Let's have a great meeting.
Thank you. All right. And before we go anywhere, I think it's really important if we have any first-time visitor with us, if you could raise your hand. You could use the hand sign there. I see Carol is a carpenter. And as you put your hand up and I call on your name, if you don't mind to say your name and your union and local you're from. So maybe starting with Carol. Carol, is that carpenters or what is
Yes, yes. Carol Carpenter, thank you. And okay. Thank you for having me. And I am with QP 4400. All
right. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you. Great. Right. Happy to be here. I see Miguel, but there's so many people. I don't know who else, but I know Miguel's here. I saw him earlier.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. And I see Liz Perry.
Hi, I'm Liz Perry. I'm from the Canadian Union of Postal Workers, Local 626. And it's an honor and a privilege to be here tonight. Thank you.
Welcome, Liz. And okay, and I see Brother Marvin Alfred.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Thank you. I've been here one time before, but I have a new position. So my name is Marvin Alfred. I'm the president of ATU Local 113, and I wanted to thank you for welcoming me here. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome. You're in good hands, Brother Marvin.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I see Hart White.
Yep, Art White, Business Manager, Financial Secretary of Local 30 Sheet Metal Workers. Thanks for having me tonight.
Thank you and welcome. Next, I see Cindy Lou.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cindy Lou from OPS EU, with local number 596. Nice to meet you, everyone here, and happy Lunar New Year. Thanks for having me tonight.
Thank you. And then I see Antonio.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Antonio Bove. I'm the new president of Local 1571, the education sector with York Catholic District School Board, and it is my pleasure to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Camlin.
Hi, I'm Camlin Benaigamorthy from Local 4948. Thank you all for having me today. Excited to see what happens.
Okay, welcome. And I think I just missed someone else. Wow. All right. I hope I didn't miss any of you, but I just want to say welcome. If you've been here and haven't been here for some time, I want to say welcome back into the House of Labor, and just to make sure that for 2022 we are even closer than ever, because we're going to need each other to take on this kind of fight that's ahead of us. And if you're new, if it's your first time, I hope this is not your last. We got a lot of work to do, and if you're here, you're one of those activists that is ready and probably taking on the fight in your own union or workplace. And the more of us, we're stronger in numbers. So again, welcome. I know Jennifer mentioned early on about muting, and just to remind everyone just to mute yourself, and unless you put your hand up for some reason, then we are able to acknowledge. But sometimes you forget it not to mute, and it's a little bit distracting as we go along. So again, just to remember to do so. Susan, before we go any further, do you have any further instruction?
I think it sounds like most people know how to use the raise hand function. The mute function is going to be important. Once Heather Erlin from the CLC is dealing with the nominations, she will be asking people to unmute themselves to accept the nomination. So as long as everybody knows how to use both of those and the raised hand function, and then Jennifer later on will explain the online voting function. Thank you and have a great meeting.
Thank you, Susan. So we're going to, we did send the email out to you with the minutes, and I hope you got a chance to review it before we're going to take it for a vote. And so I hope you did. And just to let you know, and maybe someone that's watching on YouTube or so, you are only able to vote online if you're with us in the delegates meeting. So I apologize for the others that's not able to. So we're going to take that up the minutes for a vote now. Okay. Jennifer, okay.
Yeah. So you received the minutes in your emails earlier sent to delegates, and we encourage, because I know some people who are visiting today might not be delegates, only those who are delegates to vote. Otherwise, you can abstain. And I usually give 30 seconds.
All right.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Passed.
Okay, so the minutes is passed and it's also closed. Thank you. And up next, I'm going to ask Brother David Kidd to give us the credential report.
Yes, good evening. I move for adoption of the following delegates. ATU 113, 23 delegates. QP 79, 16 delegates. QP 4400, 42 delegates. QP 4948, 8 delegates. CUP W Toronto, 1 delegate. IBW Local 353, 22 delegates. OECTA Elementary, 3 delegates. OPSU Local 510, 1 delegate. OPSU Local 5111, 3 delegates. And UFCW Local 1006A. I move for adoption.
Thank you, brother. Okay. I'm not sure if we are missing anything, but I'm going to ask if anyone is here to have a strike happening or lockout that you need to report on. This is your time. Okay. All right, so I think I'll make sure that I'm capturing everyone. Okay, so there's no strike or lockout for tonight. And as I mentioned about month, and we are in February right now, and aside from, as I mentioned, all the issues that's around us, we also need to recognize February, we celebrate Black History Month. And yes, like it comes with the bitter and the sweet, but we also, as the saying, we have to also know where we're coming from to know where we're going. And yes, not just one day, but every day where we need to celebrate it. And what I want to do tonight is to ask our co-chair, Danica Izzard, to do a presentation for Black History Month. Sister Danica, are you here?
Yes, thank you so much, Andrea. So I'd like to start by asking folks a message from the Equity Committee that would like everyone to save the following dates. May 12th for the Bromley Armstrong Awards and June 18th for the Indigenous and Workers of Color Conference. So please mark those dates on your calendar, and more information will be forthcoming. So we have a short slideshow presentation prepared for you. And in celebration of Black History Month, we have a presentation that's focused on efforts taken by Black Canadians throughout history to advance social inclusion and combat racism and segregation. Sorry, Skylar, are you able to share the slideshow? Okay. Thank you. So the presentation is focused on efforts taken by Black Canadians throughout history to advance social inclusion and combat racism and segregation. It's vital that we all recognize and celebrate the achievements of Black Canadian laborists as it's part of our collective history. We must understand upon whose shoulders we stand that allowed us to achieve what we have here today. A special thank you to Sharon Simpson from Labor Community Services, who did the tremendous work of putting together this information, and also to Skylar from Labor Council staff with support with the presentation tonight. So to get us started, you may have heard of Uncle Tom's Cabin, but did you know who inspired the memoir? Josiah Henson was born enslaved in Maryland, the USA. He escaped to Ontario with his wife and children, and aspects of his life were captured in the anti-slavery book, Uncle Tom's Cabin. In Dresden, Ontario, he and other abolitionists created the Dawn Settlement. It was a place for refugees fleeing enslavement to gain education and skills necessary to be self-sufficient and for self-determination. So next slide. Contributions of Black Canadians like the No. 2 Battalion have not always made their way into our history books. The No. 2 Battalion was the largest Black unit in Canadian history. The British War Office refused to allow any Black units into combat on the Western Front because they feared the Black infantry units might use their training and experience against British authorities in the colonies. In April 1916, the Chief of the General Staff at militia headquarters found a solution. He proposed that a Black labor battalion be formed as labor was in short supply and critical to support the campaigns. This was something that the British could approve. Next slide. Immigration and the role immigrants have played in expanding the Canadian economy, thriving despite difficult conditions, is actually quite remarkable. In the 1950s, immigration programs such as the West Indian Domestic Scheme recruited women from the Caribbean to work in Canada. Jean Augustine, the first Black woman to be elected to Canada's House of Commons as the Member of Parliament from the Greater Toronto Area, migrated to Canada through the West Indian Domestic Scheme program. In this picture, you see a group of French-speaking women from Guadeloupe in 1911, and they're photographed at Ellis Island while on their way to domestic jobs in Montreal. Next slide. Do you know about one of the first newspapers in Nova Scotia owned and published by Black Canadians who used the platform to advocate for Black rights? So Carrie Best started the Clarion in 1946 with the intention to publish every 2 weeks. The Clarion was relaunched in December 1946 as a multi-page tabloid-sized publication featuring the story of Viola Desmond's arrest in New Glasgow's Roseland Theatre. With this issue, the paper, edited by Carrie Best, moved from covering the local community to advocating for racial equality across the province and covering, in her words, the progress and achievement of the colored people. Later formatted as a broadsheet, the paper went national in August 1949 when it was issued as the Negro Citizen. We can go to the next slide, please. So issues that affected residents in Africville are issues that Black, Indigenous, and racialized folks in Canada continue to face today. Struggles for access to services and care while being surveilled and over-policed. Environmental racism persists, demonstrating why climate justice is a racial justice issue. Africville was a primarily Black community located in the South Shore of the Bedford Basin on the outskirts of Halifax. The first records of a Black presence in Africville date back to 1848, and it has continued to exist for 150 years after that. Over that time, hundreds of individuals and families lived there and built a thriving, close-knit community. There were stores, a school, a post office, and the Seaview United Baptist Church, which was Africville's spiritual and social center. Unlike other Halifax residents, Africville residents did not receive water and sewer services. For their water supply, they relied on an assortment of wells. While they asked the city to provide basic services on numerous occasions, the city took no action. So as a movement, it's essential that we understand the contributions of those before us that permit us to be where we are here now. Toronto York Region Labour Council has celebrated 150 years, and as we continue our work, it's essential that we remember that a more inclusive and equitable society will be a just society for all. So the Equity Committee is working with Labour Council for Black History Month on a series of videos this year. And each week, a new video will be released by Labour Council on social media to celebrate Black History Month. We encourage you to share this information on your social media networks, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and to check in during the month to find out who will be featured each week. So just to give you a peek, this is our very first feature for this week.
Apologies, I'm getting it going. Hold on. Can you still see my screen? Is it working? Okay, just give me 1 second. I might have to reopen the file.
Yeah, what can go wrong will always go wrong. This is like happens in every teacher's classroom where technology fails, because that's just how it's going to go. And, you have to just roll with the punches. So you just kind of roll with it, make it work. But thank you so much, Skylar, because I'm sure that inevitably the technology will work. Or maybe it won't. But again, just while we're waiting for that, I really would encourage folks to please make sure that you go on to social media, share these profiles. It's really important that people get to see about the Black laborist and that more people are getting to see this information. So we would really encourage you to share this if you can.
I was inspired to learn about Jane Veacock, an anti-racism activist and human rights advocate. She was the first Black woman to work in the Central Labor Organization when she became the Director of Human Rights and Race Relations at the Ontario Federation of Labor in 1986. The reality is that isn't that long ago. Among her many accomplishments, she was a founding member of the Ontario Coalition of Black Trade Unionists. The CBTU continues to do important work today here in Ontario, which is a wonderful legacy. I think it's vital that we remember and celebrate the achievements of Black Canadians in the labor movement. I know that I'm here today because of the work of folks like Jane Veacock, and I'm grateful for that.
So you'll be able to find this video shortly on Facebook and Instagram, the social media for Toronto York Region Labour Council. So again, I encourage you, please go onto the social media, share it with all of your networks, friends, family, and colleagues, and let's get this message out there about all of the incredible Black laborists that have been part of our movement. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sister. We're gonna get ready for the nomination for the executive board and the committee in a few seconds, which I'll hand over to Sister Heather Erlin from the CLC. But I also want to ask you, I should have done that earlier, where you register your name, because it's a little bit harder for us, and especially tonight, where we make sure that we have proper attendance. If you're able to go back to your name, if you didn't do that already, and just to have your union or your local beside it would be wonderful. I've seen some of you already done that, and some it's hard to recognize who's the person. So I'm just gonna ask you, please, if you're able to edit it, and so it's easy for the attendance. I'd appreciate that. So I'm gonna turn over to Sister Heather Erlin from the CLC to conduct the nomination.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, President Andrea Babington. And good evening, everyone. I hope all of you are keeping well and safe, and I want to take a moment to wish all of you a happy Lunar New Year in the Year of the Tiger. It's a year known for bringing out bravery, courage, and strength in each of us. So good timing with the elections that we have ahead, and certainly with the fight we have ahead. So I hope all of you are doing well with that. So I'm going to start this process by outlining exactly how this will roll, and I will take questions at the end. So I'm going to be opening up the floor for nominations for each of the executive positions, those being in this order: President, Vice President, Secretary, Treasurer, 12 board positions, and that will be followed by the positions of Tyler and Sergeant at Arms. We will then move into nominations for the committees. The committee will be announced in alphabetical order, that being Education, Equity, Municipal, and Women's. I'll be writing the nominations down as they come in. All nominations will be collected for each position while the floor is open. Then for those who have been nominated, I will ask for their acceptance of ask if they accept their nomination. They can accept or deny, of course. And I will be reading those names back in reverse order from what I received as they came in. If you have sent written nomination acceptance, you will still need to accept your nomination at this meeting. The written acceptance is a backup if for some reason you couldn't get on the Zoom or something happened in your personal life that you weren't able to be here this evening. There will be 3 calls for nominations for each position and each committee. And I do want to draw your attention to Article 8 of the bylaws that I'm going to read to you now. A delegate to be eligible for election of office for President, Vice President, Secretary, or Treasurer must be a member in good standing of an affiliated organization and must have attended 50% of the meetings of the Labor Council in the last 12 months immediately preceding the date of the election. To be eligible for re-election, an officer must have attended 50% of the Executive Board meetings in the preceding term and 50% of the Labor Council meetings. The duplicate card held by the Tyler shall be the official record of the delegate's attendance. A delegate to be eligible for the position of the Executive Board must be a member in good standing with the affiliated organization. This is just in the bylaws as well, so it's reiterating. To be eligible for re-election, an executive member must have attended 50% of the Executive Board meetings. So I want to open up the floor to see if anybody has any questions for how this process will work. Okay, seeing none. Oh, it is for a 2-year term for all of them. Yeah, good question, Carol. Okay, so without further ado, I am going to open up the floor for nominations for the position of President of the Toronto and York Region Labour Council. Kelly.
Hi there. Good evening, sisters, brothers, and comrades. My name is Kelly Belbin. I'm the president of COPE Local 343. It's a great honor and privilege that I sit with you this evening to nominate my friend and sister, Andrea Babington, for president of the Toronto and York Region Labour Council. Since Andrea was elected president this past summer, she has proven to all of us that she is the right person for the job. Along with her many years of activism with Unite Here Local 75, COPE Local 343, and with the Labour Council, I can't think of anyone better for this role. In solidarity.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kelly. Second round for nominations. Third and final call. Seeing none. Congratulations. Oh, sorry, Andrea, do you accept your nomination?
Sorry about that. I accept with thanks to my nominator.
Congratulations, Andrea. We are so thrilled to have you. The labor movement is lucky to have a leader like you. So thrilled to be seeing you in this new term and working closely with you.
Thank you.
So we will be moving right along to the position of Vice President, opening up the floor for nominations for the position of Vice President.
Thank you, Andrea and Heather. This is Lee Caprio, IBEW Local 353 Business Manager. And I have to say that it's a privilege and an honor to be here with everyone tonight. And I would like to express my nomination for a brother that has probably done more for the labor movement at our local than anyone else I can even imagine. He has made an immeasurable impact in all of labor. And he's a great activist and a union representative. And he's probably one of the most passionate advocates for workers in all walks of life and sectors. His generosity just extends to everything from the volunteerism that he's made and his dedication to the Labor Council for well over a decade. So it's my honor and privilege to nominate Brother Jeffrey Irons for the position of Vice President.
Thank you so much, Lee. Second call for nominations. Third and final call. Seeing none. Jeff, do you accept your nomination?
I do. I gratefully accept the nomination with thanks to my nominator. Although to be honest, I thought he was talking about somebody else. And please just call me Jeff unless I'm in trouble. But thank you very much. I'll do my best to serve the council.
Wonderful news. We're so glad to have you on board. Thank you.
And I was definitely talking about that Jeff Irons.
Excellent. Moving to the position of secretary. Opening up the floor for nominations for the position of secretary. Seeing Mark Brown.
Thank you. Mark Brown from the Canadian Union of Postal Workers. I have the honor of nominating the current Secretary Treasurer of the Toronto local of the Canadian Union of Postal Workers, Brother Abdi Hagi-Yosef. Brother Hagi-Yosef's resume goes back decades and then some. Prior to the Secretary Treasurer position, he was the Chief Shop Steward of one of Canada's largest postal facility. He's a member of CBTU and a former executive board member of CBTU and the current president of Labor Community Services. With Abdi Hagi-Yosef as our treasurer, the Toronto local is under sound financial footing. So I have the honor of nominating Brother Abdi Hagi-Yosef for the position of Secretary of the Labor Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Second call for nominations. Oh, and I'm seeing an adorable kid, Jennifer's kid. Hello. Second call for nomination. Third and final call. Seeing none. Do you accept your nomination, Abdi?
I accept my nomination and I thank truly from my heart my local Mark Brown, my union, and all the activists I worked through the years. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wonderful news. Fantastic. We will move to the position of treasurer. So I'm opening up the floor for nominations for the position of treasurer. First call for nominations. Brandon.
Thanks, Heather. Brandon Haynes, President of the Toronto Public Library Workers Union, Local 4948. And I would be very honored to nominate Sister Jinky David for the position of treasurer. And she's warned me not to make a speech, but Jinky's great, so that's my nomination.
Thank you very much. Second call for nominations. Third and final call. Just see your hand still up there, brother. Do you have another nomination? No? Okay. Carolyn, I see your hand. Oh, no. Okay, no worries. Okay, third and final call. Seeing none. Do you accept your nomination, Jinky?
I do, with many thanks to my friend and nominator, Brandon.
Wonderful news. Fantastic. Okay, so now we're going to be moving into the 12 board positions. So please be patient with me as I write everyone's name down as they come in. But I'm going to now open up the floor for the 12 board positions for the Toronto and York Region Labor Council, starting with Laura.
Thank you, Heather. Laura Thompson of pronouns she, her, OPSI Local 503. And I wish to nominate Brother Kingsley Kwok from OPSI Local 575.
Thank you very much. Philomena.
Thank you. Philomena Ferraro with OECTA, Catholic Teachers. I'd like to nominate Vanessa Stobie from OSSTF District 16.
Thank you so much. Vicki?
Sorry, my husband just got home and he's talking to the dog, so it's a little distracting here. Good evening, brothers and sisters and comrades. It's my great pleasure and honor to nominate Judith Logan Junip from the Society of United Professionals. Judith is a former local vice president in our union, the Society of United Professionals, and has been a union member since 1999. Judith is currently the Treasury Secretary of Labor Community Services and committee member of Yes It Matters campaign, and is an active delegate to the Toronto and York District Labor Council. It's my honor to nominate Sister Judith to the Executive Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. Dave?
Hi there. I'm sorry, I thought my name actually gave the full name. It's Dave Mitchell, Local 79. It is my honor and privilege to nominate Erica John from QP Local 79.
Carolyn.
Yes, thank you. Carolyn Egan, President of the United Steelworkers Local 8300. And it's a great honor for me to nominate my brother and comrade, Hendrik Bruin, who is a great activist, both the United Steelworkers and the Labor Council, in solidarity.
Thank you so much. Felicia.
Good evening, Labor Council fam. It is my honor to nominate not one, but two people. So first up for executive board is my sister, mi hermana, Yolanda Videsi from ETFO Toronto Local. And the second nomination I would like to put forward is my brother from SEIU Local 1, Ainsworth Spence. Both are awesome, both do great work, and I'm proud to nominate them. Thank you.
Tanika.
Hi, Tanika Grace Udo here. Currently shop steward and operator for the TTC with ATU Local 113. With great honor, I would like to nominate Aleem Thorani for a position on the executive board. He has been a pleasure to work with since I've been a part of the local, and he's been awesome help to me, and I'm sure that he would be an amazing asset to the Toronto York Region Labor Council.
Justin.
Hi, Justin Anthonys, President, IATSC, Local 58, Toronto Stagehands. It's a pleasure to stand today and nominate Brother Chris Naden of IATSC, Local 58. Chris has been the treasurer of Local 58 for over 10 years now. He's a dedicated, almost dedicated to a fault, labor activist, both for people in the live entertainment industry, but also for everyone in the labor community, and he'll be a beneficial add to the executive board of Local 58. So I'm honored to be able to nominate him today.
Very much. Yolanda.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, comrades. So great to see all of you this evening. Yolanda McLean, QP Local 4400 and Secretary Treasurer of QP Ontario. It is with great honor and pleasure that I nominate Miguel Lima from Local 4400, who I have to say, if there's anyone that's going to start the revolution or the true activist on the ground, I want to be in the struggle with him. So it gives me great honor to nominate Miguel Lima tonight from 4400.
Thank you. Tania.
Thanks, Heather. Good evening, union families. Tania Liu, UFCW 1006A. I'm nominating my fellow coworker, trade unionist and community activist Rick Young for the executive board. Food is in UFCW's name, and food security is an issue very close to our hearts. A friend of Rick's worked at banquets. There is often a large quantity of leftover at the end of the night, and his friend didn't have a car. So Rick would drive over late at night after the banquets, pick up the food with his friend, and deliver to people in need. Rick cares and he delivers, whether it's to advocate for members, to support organizing drive, to attend a rally, or to help on an election campaign. You can always count on Rick to deliver. It's my honor to nominate Rick Young for the executive board.
Thank you so much. And Hendrik.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Wasn't sure if I was on there. Thank you very much, sisters, brothers, comrades. It's my great pleasure to step forward today to nominate a woman who is a real leader and a real hero to the labor movement at large and to yours truly specifically. And she is the president of the Steelworkers Toronto Area Council and someone who I'm very proud to call a friend and a comrade, Carolyn Egan, to the executive board.
Thank you so much. All right, so I will second call for nominations. Third and final call. Seeing none. So I'll be asking those who have been nominated if they accept their nomination in reverse order from how I received them. Carolyn, do you accept your nomination?
I do accept with thanks to my nominator.
Wonderful, thank you. Rick, do you accept your nomination?
I do accept with thanks to my nominator.
Thank you. Miguel, do you accept your nomination? Is Miguel with us tonight?
Sorry about that. I wasn't. I wasn't. Yes, I do accept it, and thank you for my nomination.
Wonderful. Chris Naden, do you accept your nomination?
With great respect and thanks to my nominator, I thank him and I do accept. Thank you.
Wonderful. Aline, do you accept your nomination?
I graciously accept my nomination and like to thank my nominator.
Ainsworth, do you accept your nomination?
I accept with thanks to my sister, Felicia Samuel.
Wonderful. Yolanda, do you accept your nomination?
I do. Merci à ma sœur Felicia.
Hendrik, do you accept your nomination?
Yes, I accept with thanks to my nominator.
Forgive me if I do not pronounce this correctly, but Erica Das, do you accept your nomination?
Yes, I do accept the nomination from my president, Dave Mitchell of Local 79, and I thank him very much for this responsibility. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Judith, do you accept your nomination? Is Judith with us this evening?
I see her on the participant list.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there we go.
Yes, with great humility and honor to be amongst such a group as the Toronto York District Labour Council and its board members. And I thank my sister in union, the Society of United Professionals, and Vicky Power for the honor.
Vanessa, do you accept your nomination?
With great humility, I accept it, and especially from a friend and mentor in Philomena. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, Kingsley, do you accept your nomination?
Good evening, comrades. Sister, yes, I accept the nomination with thanks to sister and comrade Laura Thompson.
Fantastic. Okay, we are through the board position. So I just want to lend a huge congratulations to everyone who will be sitting on the board. Really looking forward to working with all of you and the amazing work that you bring to our communities. So next we are going to be moving to the position of Tyler. I'm going to open up the floor for nominations. First call for nominations. Erica Das.
Good evening, sisters and brothers. I, Arokedas John, a member of QP Local 79 and a delegate of Toronto York Region Labour Council, nominate David Kidd to be Toronto York Region Labour Council Tyler for the next term of office.
Thank you. Second call for nominations. Third and final call. Seeing none. David, do you accept your nomination?
I accept with great thanks to my nominator and be safe, my brother.
Wonderful. Thank you. Fantastic. Wonderful to have you. And last but certainly not least on this round, the Sergeant at Arms position, I'd like to open up the floor for nominations. First call for nominations. Joe.
Thanks, Heather.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. It gives me great pleasure to honor, and it is my honor to nominate my brother and friend Blair Gallant to the position of Sergeant at Arms. Blair has been an activist in my local sheet metal workers and roofers local 30 for many years. Many of you already know him as a tireless activist throughout our movement. Comrades, I'm confident Brother Blair Gallant will serve the position of Sergeant at Arms with pride, respect, and dignity. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Joe. Second call for nominations. Third and final call. Seeing none. Blair, do you accept your nomination?
With great thanks to my brother and my friend Joe, who was the one that introduced me to Labor Council many years ago, I accept my nomination.
Wonderful. Fantastic. Great to have everybody here on board. Okay, so we will now be moving into the committee portion of nominations. And just so everyone's aware, there will be a swearing in of the executive board once we're completed with the nomination process. So we're going to, in order, alphabetical order, that being education, equity, municipal, and women's. So I'm now going to open up the floor for nominations for the education committee. I see Philomena.
Thank you, Philomena, for Wekta. I would like to make more than one nomination for the education committee. Karen Ebanks from York Catholic Teachers Wekta. Vanessa Stobie, OSSTF District 16, and Rob Bauer, Toronto Elementary Catholic Teachers Owekda. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Darren?
Thank you. From ETFO York Region, I would like to nominate Pam Beetlestone, who is a sitting vice president, to the position. She's currently held the position for us and represents teachers admirably and with experience and wisdom.
And Michael.
Hi there, permissible, Michael Butler, QP 1281. I'd like to self-nominate for this position as someone who works within the education sector and a lot of frontline educators. I'd be excited to join on in this role.
Second call for nominations. Third and final call. Okay, Yolanda.
Thank you. I'd like to nominate Marie Coulter from QP 4400. I'd also like to nominate Lena Nakaroto from QP 1328. I'd like to nominate Mike Platt from OSSTF Toronto. And last but not least, my mentor and colleague, Chief Negotiator Helen Victoris from the Elementary Teachers of Toronto.
Fantastic. Okay, so I will be going in reverse order from what we've received. If you could just give me one second, I am just reviewing my. We're also just checking that everybody who is nominated has enough of the meeting. So this is just going to take a moment. So if you could just be patient for a second. Okay, we are ready to move forward. So in the reverse order that I've received, Helen, do you accept your nomination?
Yes, thanks so much to my femtor Yolanda for nominating me as well.
Wonderful. And then I have Mike. Do you accept your nomination?
Yes, I humbly accept with many thanks to my nominator, Yolanda. Thank you.
And we have Lima. Do you accept your nomination? Is Lima with us this evening? Okay, I'm not seeing anything, and we do not have a written acceptance letter received from her, so unfortunately, we're not able to move forward with that nomination. So sorry to her nominator for that. But there's still certainly lots of ways to be involved. She can attend as a guest and be involved if she's gung-ho to contribute to the Labor Council. So it's not all is lost. Moving along, Mary. Marie
That
Coulter.
Marie? Is it?
Sorry,
Marie.
Marie.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you to my nominator and my local. Yes.
Wonderful. And Michael Butler.
Yeah, thank you very much. I accept, and not sure about my nominator, but thank you very much.
Wonderful. Okay, and Pam Beetlestone.
Hi, I am privileged and honored to accept my esteemed colleagues' nomination and shared faith in our shared labor activism and vision. I do accept with heartfelt gratitude and mutual appreciation. So yes, absolutely, for sure.
Thank you, Pam. Rob Bauer.
Yes, I accept. I accept my nomination.
Just cutting out a little bit, but I did
I
hear.
accept my nomination.
Okay, I hear the accept.
Sorry, I'm having trouble. Yeah, I accept my nomination, and thank you to my colleague and my nominator, Philomena. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Vanessa.
And again, really thankful to Philomena and the trust that everyone will have in me, and I definitely accept.
And last but certainly not least, Karen.
Thank you, Heather. I accept humbly with deep appreciation for my nominator, inspirational leader, and femtor Philomena. Thank you.
Wonderful. We're thrilled to have all of you on board. We know that everything that educators are going through right now, couldn't be happier to have a full team with all of you on it. So congratulations to everyone on the Equity Committee. Fantastic. Okay, so next we're going to be moving to the Equity Committee. I'm going to be opening up the floor for nominations for the Equity Committee. First call for nominations. I have Emma.
Hi, Emma Lee, QP 4948 Toronto Library Workers, and I'd like to nominate Tamlin Banayagamurthy.
Thank you. And Janice.
Hi, Janice Ariza, Local 5111. I'd like to nominate Sharday Anderson from Local 5111. Sharday is a new activist, but she has a lot of passion, and I'm sure she can learn, and her energy will help the committee. Thank you.
Would you mind just, if you can, would you help by spelling out her name for me? If you have it, yes, that'd be helpful.
S-H-A-R-D-E.
Okay.
Anderson.
Anderson. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Danica.
Hi, and I'm Danica Gizzard from OSSTF Toronto, and I have multiple people that I'm nominating. So first, I would like to nominate Ralph Chator from the Society. Next, I'd like to nominate Keith Menez from USW Local 8300. And next, I'd like to nominate Joy Davis from QP Local 4400. Thank you.
Thank you. And Sade, yes, Sade.
Hi, sorry, I was having problems unmuting. I would like to nominate Janice from Local 5111.
Wonderful. And do you have her last name? Was that the sister that just spoke? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I see her there. Yes. Arzia. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you. Second call for nominations. Third and final call.
Heather, this Abdi, we send a nomination in writing for Brother Doug Warren for equity.
Okay. Doug Warren. Thank you, Abdi. Okay.
Heather,
So I'll,
point of order, if I
yes.
could. Could you name the committee that you're looking for the nominations for? I believe there's someone who arrived recently who may not know that the committee that they're being asked to provide a nominee for.
Of course, yes. So we are on the Equity Committee nominations. So if you have any nominations for the Equity Committee, that's what we are taking nominations for right now. Perhaps that person is, oh, okay. I see okay, the new person has arrived. So do I need to repeat it or? Thank you for your patience, everyone. Just giving this person, giving them a minute to get situated.
Okay, sure. Hi, this is Guled Warsami from United Local 75.
Hi there.
Hi, I would like to nominate Monica McKenzie from United Local 75 in the Women's Committee. And she sent the letter that she accepted the nomination.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I will do a third and final call one more time. Seeing none. So we have more positions than what is in the bylaws to have. So I will be working backwards to see if everyone accepts. And if it is contested, if everyone does accept. Oh, did he say, so Sharon in the chat is wondering if he said for the women.
No, equity committee.
Equity? Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. So in the case that it does go to an election, I'll just share the process for that once we've gone through if folks accept their nominations. So in reverse order from how I received it, Monica, do you accept your nomination?
She's out of town and she sent her acceptance.
Okay. Yep. Okay. We have that letter. So thank you. Doug Warren, do you accept your nomination?
Doug sent his nomination in writing with his acceptance.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I see that we have that. And we've got Janice. Do you accept your nomination?
Thanks to my nominator, I have other commitments, but I'm always willing to help out any of the committees. So thank you to my nominator, but I decline.
Thank you for that, Janice, and for your commitment. Okay, and moving to Joy.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. Thank you, and I do accept.
Wonderful, thank you. And Keith, do you accept your nomination? Keith Meneas. Is he with us this evening?
I don't see his name in the participant list.
We do have a letter. We do have a letter for him, so that's great. Moving to Ralph, do you accept your nomination?
I accept. Thank you to my nominator.
Fantastic. Sade, do you accept your nomination?
Yes, I accept. Thank you to my nominator.
Wonderful. And Cam Lynn, do you accept your nomination?
Yes, I do, and with thanks to my nominator.
Wonderful. Okay, so it looks like because we did not have a person accept their nomination that we're able to move forward with our nominees. So thank you so much to everyone who is now going to be part of our equity committee. Very excited to see the work that you're going to be doing this year. Very exciting. Okay, moving right along to the municipal committee. So now I will be opening up the floor for the first round of nominations for the municipal committee. Jinky.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. I have the privilege today to nominate my local's fearless leader. This man is so deserving of being part of the municipal committee. He's a great voice for library workers, for the Toronto Public Library workers, but he's a great voice for the city, and he will represent us proudly. So I, with honor, my privilege, I nominate Brandon Hayes.
Thank you so much. And I see Erica Das' hand.
So good evening, sisters and brothers. And it's my great privilege to nominate my QP Local 79 president and friend, Dave Mitchell, for the position of representative of municipal committee.
Thank you. Going to John Humphrey. Oh.
Good evening.
Oh, yeah.
I am proud to nominate my brother, Hendrik Bruin of Steelworkers 8300, a member of the outgoing municipal committee. And when he's not eating Timbits, he's a savvy and energetic member of the Steelworkers Toronto Area Council.
Thank you. Sarah Gardner.
Hi, I'd like to nominate Melissa Sobers from Unite Here Local 75, researcher and a loud advocate for workers' rights.
Travis Matthews.
Hi, Travis Matthews from Local 3888. I'd like to nominate Kem Webb from Toronto Professional Firefighters Association, Local 3888.
Aleem Thurani.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I would like to nominate a couple people. It is my honor and privilege to nominate Brother Jason De Silva from ATU Local 113. He is seeking re-election. I'd also like to have the privilege of nominating Chris Campbell from Carpenters Local 27. And I'd also like to nominate Anthony Frascati, sorry, F-A-R-C-A-S-S-I from QP 416.
Okay, thank you. Second call for nominations. Third and final call. Seeing none, I will move in, I will, repeat back in reverse order. So starting with Anthony, do you accept your nomination?
I don't think he's present.
Okay, we do have a letter from him, so we're good there. Chris Campbell.
Chris Campbell is not with us at the moment.
Okay, we also have his letter. Jason De Silva.
Hi, Jason. Thank you. I'd like to thank my nominator, and I look forward to being part of this committee and working with everybody again.
Ken Webb, do you accept your nomination?
Yes, Ken Webb, I accept my nomination with thanks to my nominator, Travis Matthews. Thank you.
Melissa Silvers, do you accept your nomination?
Did she send in a letter, maybe?
I don't think she's with us tonight.
She did. Yep. Okay. Hendrik, do you accept your nomination?
Yes, I accept. I'm happy to serve on the committee again, and with much gratitude to my brother John for his beautiful words and for his nomination.
Great news. Thank you. And Dave Mitchell, do you accept your nomination?
I do, with thanks to my nominator.
Fantastic. And Brandon, do you accept your nomination? Haynes.
I do accept, and thank you, Jinky, for the nomination.
Fantastic. We have a full municipal committee. Looking forward to the work that this committee does. Congratulations to all of you. And we are now at the Women's Committee, the last committee of the evening. So I'm now opening up the floor for nominations for this committee. First call for nominations. Madeline?
Hi, thank you. Good evening, sisters and brothers. People just call me Maggie, E-N-Y-E-N. I'm with COPE 343, working for the IBEW 353. And I have a few sisters that I am honored to nominate because I think they're going to bring some energy and some power to the Women's Committee. So we're going to start off with Liz Perry, Cup W Toronto. Thank you, Liz. Tanika Grace Udo, ATU 113.
So sorry, Maggie. Can you start over again? I was just a little distracted. Can you start over again?
No problem. Do you want me to start with who I'm nominating?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we're going to start with Liz Perry, Cup W Toronto. Tanika, Tunika Grace. And it's Udo, U-D-O-H, ATU 113. 1, 2, 3. Josie Barberi, UFCW 1006A. And I'm leaving the last sister, Cara Bordeaux, who is a friend and sister, who I'm very proud of, who just passed her CFQ license to make her a journey electrician. So she is with the IBEW 353. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jinky.
Good evening again, brothers and sisters. Jinky David from Local 4948. I am going to nominate 4 badass, fierce women who will make the Women's Committee stronger than ever. These are mostly returning women, and please, I'm happy to nominate my sister from the library workers, Emma Lee. Alex Thompson from United Steelworkers Local 1998, Laura Thompson from OPSU Local 503, and Sarah Gardner, Unite Here Local 75. Thank you, ladies, for giving me the honor to nominate you guys. You guys are fierce and badass. You guys will do well. Oh, and sorry, more nominations.
We love fierce badass women, so love it. Second call for nominations. Third and final call. Seeing none. So I'll repeat back in reverse order. Sarah, do you accept your nomination?
I accept with thanks to my nominator with fierce badassness.
Lucy and Mary Reed, we're just going to have to be able to talk with delegates about that, and that this is not, none of this is ideal. All of us wish we were in person and able to do some of the things that we have done, not because the rules in the Constitution.
Okay. So Laura, do you accept your nomination?
I accept with thanks to my nominator.
Wonderful. Alex, do you accept your nomination? Thompson.
I accept with great thanks to my nominator.
Oh, what fantastic glasses. Loving it.
Thank you.
Emma, do you accept your nomination?
I accept with thanks to my nominator.
Wonderful. Kara, do you accept your nomination?
I accept. Thank you to my nominator.
Fantastic. Josie, do you accept your nomination?
I accept my nomination and thank you to my nominator.
Wonderful. Tamika, do you accept your nomination?
Yes, I definitely accept the nomination, and thank you to Maggie for nominating me.
Wonderful. And Liz, do you accept your nomination? Are we seeing Liz?
I humbly accept with many thanks to my nominator.
Fantastic. Well, cannot wait to see what the Women's Committee does this term. Congratulations to all of you, and very much looking forward to working with you. Okay, so that is a wrap for that portion. I will now be asking anyone who was successful in the positions for anything on the executive board. You're going to be sworn into office. So anyone who is on the executive board, could you please unmute your mics? I'll just give everyone a moment to get ready. Okay, so everyone can just speak at the same time. It will sound a little funny because we're all online, but that's okay. We're doing it together. So I do hereby sincerely pledge.
I do hereby sincerely pledge.
My word and honor to perform.
My word and honor to perform.
The duties as an officer.
My duties as an officer.
Of the Toronto and York Region Labor Council.
Of the Toronto and York Region
Labor Council.
We did not hear. We did not hear. We did not hear what you said.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I will attend when able to do so.
I
will attend when able to do so.
All meetings of the executive board.
All meetings of the executive board.
And labor council.
Labor council.
Of which I shall be a member.
Of which I shall be a member.
And at the end of my term in office.
And at the end of my term in office.
At the end of my term in office.
Office. Ditto. Don't start.
I shall turn over to the labor council.
I shall turn over to the labor council.
To my successor.
Or to my successor.
All properties or funds in my possession.
All properties or funds in my possession.
Missed that one too.
In my possession.
The last line we got was in my possession.
Yes.
Property and funds.
We still can't hear you.
Heather, you're muted.
Heather,
again
your
or
mic's
something.
down.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Am I supposed to repeat that? Can you hear me?
Is that belong to the Labor Council?
That belong to the Labor Council.
Congratulations, it's official. We're so excited to have each and every one of you. Fantastic, and can't wait to work with all of you. I know it's a lot. Okay, wonderful. I'll pass the chair back over to our president, Madam President Andrea Babington, and thank you everyone for being part of this process and your hard work in the labor movement. This is very exciting. So on to the rest of the program.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we go any further, I just want to thank everyone for, I would say, trusting the board, the members that you nominate tonight, and also I'd say myself to continue the journey of leading the Labor Council. I also want to say thank you very much to the outgoing committee members and also board members that served with us before and now, leaving the seat open and it's filled tonight with others to come in and pick up the torch. And just to forewarn you that even though you're not sitting in that seat, we're not just going to forget you. We expect you to continue working with us, and you're just leaving the shoe behind for others to continue that journey, but for you to help us to strengthen it. Sister Philomena Ferraro from Oector York region was our board member, and amazing sister when it comes to politics. She did a lot of work in terms of the York region and on our board. And we're gonna miss you, but I hope you're staying around for us. Brother Jonathan Lobo, I don't think he's here tonight, but I just want to send my thank you to him for the work and just being with us in the Labor Council, and also for Sister Sophia Reno, who came on shortly from QP 79 and has to step out of that. Thank you very much.
In prep or prep back.
So I just want to say thank you very much for the work you do and for being here with us. And Sister Vicky Powers, again, you're stepping out, but you're also putting another fierceful leader in the seat. So I want to thank all of you and all of you from the committee who's joining us. And yeah, like as I said early on, we have a lot of work to do, and I feel really, like I'm just on the moon knowing that you're willing to come in and help to lift the Labor Council up. I'm proud of you and thank you. And let us get the show on the road, sisters and brothers. Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to continue with our agenda. And what we know for this year, there's a lot of things that are coming up and at stake, and one of them, when it comes to our political arena, we have to keep that on our mind. I don't know if anybody is in our meeting tonight not thinking of the elections that's coming up. We know for sure that there's going to be an election for June 2nd. We have that date, but before we get there, we need to get ourselves organized and get ready that we are making history and making our mark and not looking back or counting 4 more years to end the misery. We have an opportunity to do so. And to do that mean we need to organize and mobilize ourselves to get to the finishing line. And with that, we have Sister Melissa Bayan. She's the OFL Political Action Director and also a mom of a toddler, a new activist that's coming up around the corner. So help me welcome Sister Melissa as she come in to join us to talk a bit about the election priority. Welcome, Sister Melissa.
Thank you. Thanks for everybody. I know that today has been a long evening, but a very important evening. So I just wanted to congratulate everybody that has had a chance to run, be nominated by your colleagues or your comrades So congratulations. That's really important. And I was so honored to be here to watch that. I'm going to speak for a brief 5 minutes. I might just share 2 slides just to show you what we're doing. But we know that what we're facing with the Ford government is unprecedented. And many of you have heard me talk about the Ontario Federation of Labor's campaign. But we had our convention in November, and nearly 1,000 workers voted to support our campaign for the NDP. But one of the things that we're doing is ensuring that we can cast the widest net possible to mobilize as many people as possible in this province in a way that brings people together around issues that people care about. And that means that we're going to run an issues-based campaign up until May 1st. And when the writ drops, we will support NDP candidates across the province. And so I'm just quickly, because I know I don't have a lot of time, going to show you a little bit of our campaign plan. And I wanted to share this little photo of the phones app that we recently did, and many of you came out to that, and I wanted to thank you. 1,300 people signed up to fight back against the failure to respond by the Ford government to the Omicron wave. So there's clearly an urgency that people feel to fight back and to take on this government, even as we're tired from the 5th wave of the pandemic. And so that was amazing. I'm going to flip through just very quickly, our campaign plan. So the main thing is we want to mobilize as many people as possible across the province to demand a workers' first agenda. But we know that we need a lot of volunteers to do that. So some of the key moments, we have June 2nd is E-Day. May 1st is our regional day of action, and I'm going to talk about that really briefly. February 12th, we have a training coming up for labor activists in particular. March 6th, we're doing a community and labor activist assembly. We want to bring 1,000 people to a big meeting to mobilize for May 1st and June 2nd. And we're using a tool called the Pledge for a Workers' First Agenda. And I'm going to quickly review that. So obviously, we're going to do online trainings. We're running ads. We're doing all of the digital stuff. But I'm focusing on the ground game, because the ground game for the NDP and for the OFL will be extremely important in this election. So we have 124 ridings in play, and we need 40 ridings to target, and we are targeting 40 ridings. And the areas that we're targeting are swing ridings. And so there are places where the margin of victory, either for the PCs or the NDP, was anywhere between 1 and 2,500 votes, or 25 to 7,500 votes. So that's our tier 2. And in Toronto, we have 8 targeted seats that are swing ridings, where either we need to gain, we can flip them, and we can support Nathan Shan and Felicia, or hold Tom, Faisal, and Jill, places that won by a small margin that are going to be in play. And of course, Etobicoke Lakeshore and Scarborough Southwest and Beaches East York. We're going to be watching the other 5 NDP ridings to see how they're doing throughout. But those are the places that we're going to focus our ground game. And right now, just to go back to that, we've collected nearly 20,000 contacts in these targeted ridings across Ontario, actually, in our 40 of the tier 1s and tier 2s. So that's pretty great. And that means that we're going to be able to reach new people and new audiences in these particular ridings. And we're doing polling every week. So with our affiliates at the OFL, we're sharing, and labor councils like the Toronto Labor Councils, we're going to be sharing polling updates. We're going to recruit and hire some organizers. We're going to have issues-based flyers and access to digital tools. And we really want to give support to smaller affiliates and, of course, smaller labor councils. So quickly, what's happening on May 1st? We're going to hold a province-wide day of action for a workers' first agenda. This is going to be quite historic for a provincial campaign. We're planning for at least 12 regional actions across Ontario, with the possibility of more to come. And we want to raise the demands that matter most to working people and their communities. So we're trying to cast the widest net possible of community organizations and labor unions to come out on May the 1st under one banner, a workers' first agenda. Because if we're going to defeat the Ford government, we need to build power and solidarity, unlike we've done in a very, very long time. And so the Day of Action is going to be an opportunity for all struggles to come for a better world, to come together in a united movement. And it's our chance to advance a vision for the province that we want and mobilize for it. So in Toronto, we have the goal of 10,000 people on May the 1st, but 25,000 people across the province. And so it is quite ambitious before the writ drops on International Workers' Day to do this kind of action across the province. But we know that there's so much at stake. So we're going to be using a pledge sheet, a tool to have thousands of conversations across the province and have people commit to coming out on May 1st, to committing to a Workers First agenda, which will be an issues-based platform that has all our main demands coming under one umbrella. And people will pledge to come out on May 1st and vote on June 2nd. And then we'll be moving people after the writ drops to support the NDP. But up until May 1st, this is an issues-based platform that we're pushing across the province. So we know that we need to have at least 250,000 conversations to get 25,000 people out on the street. And I want to highlight that because those conversations are the organizing conversations that we need to have with our members and community allies and community people and our neighbors and community members across Ontario. And that's the ticket to building power. And we're going to track that. Just going back to this, we're going to be tracking this. We're going to have a big organizing committee for May the 1st that we're going to strike coming out of March 6th. And in that, we're going to ask affiliates from across the province and organizations from across the province to sit in so we can actually coordinate the Day of Action. So in terms of quickly next steps, on February 12th, we have a training for labor activists where we're going to launch this conversation tool, this pledge, and we're going to teach folks on how to use it and how to bring it into communities and workplaces. We're also going to strategize on how to mobilize for our March 6th activist assembly, where we're going to have both community and labor come together to strategize for May 1st and how we're going to mobilize across the province. The power that we build for May 1st, we're going to shift that power to our targeted ridings across the province. And folks are going to be able to knock on doors wherever they need to knock on doors, whether that be in Burlington, in York Region. All of the energy that we're building for May the 1st is going to create the conditions for bringing new activists and new energy, hopefully unlike we've seen in a while across the province. And so I'm just going to ask if Skylar, you can drop the link for our February 12th training. We really want you to encourage yourself and your activists and members to come out because we really want labor to really lead the way for our big assembly to plan May 1st on March the 6th. And of course, we're going to do phone banking and canvassing in all our targeted ridings and support other ridings to get resources they need to run campaigns. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to end because I don't want to take too much time. But I just want to say that given the 4 years of Ford and the 2.5 years of a brutal pandemic, this is the time to build a unified movement. And we're having conversations with environmental groups, with the Autism Coalition, with as many community groups that we can, and labor to say, look, we need to come together to show that we have power. You know, instead of these fascist right-wing white supremacists that are in trucks and the police are letting them do whatever they want, we need to say, no, we are workers and this is what we need in the province of Ontario. We have to set the bar. We need to set the standard for what we need in this province. And so we really believe that if we do the work, we can do this and it can be an incredibly powerful and galvanizing time in Ontario. And I'm really excited and I really look forward to working with all of you going forward on the campaign. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. So there you have it. And it's a perfect time to change to our next speaker that can tap into what Melissa's rolling out for us. So we're going to get ready. So tonight we have here joining us a member of Provincial Parliament, for Devonport. Merit Stiles, some of you probably saw her earlier, sending her congrats out. She's here with us. She's also a longtime community activist. She's a parent, former TDSB school trustee for Devonport. Merit is now the education critic for the NDP. Also, she's here to talk to us about the dire situation in education, much like the situation we have in healthcare. Why, and also why it's important to replace Ford and the conservative government also to replace Ford and also with the conservative government. So before I ramble on further, I just want to ask all of you to welcome Merit Style here with us tonight. Merit, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, friends, sisters, brothers. Thank you so much for welcoming me here tonight. It is great to see all of you, even if it's only virtually still. For those that I haven't had a chance to meet yet, as Andrea was saying, I'm Marit Stiles, and I'm the MPP for the Great Riding of Davenport, which is in downtown West End, Toronto. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a proud member of the official opposition NDP caucus, where I have served as the education critic. And I want to start by thanking all of you for your incredible ongoing work to advance the working and living conditions of your fellow workers, of all the people of this province at this very pivotal time, but also for your fierce advocacy for strong public services for everyone. And a special nod of thanks to you, President Andrea, and also to John Cartwright, to Brother John Cartwright. Andrea, it was wonderful to have you come to my riding just this past year. I got to see you in person there. You were speaking at the unveiling of an amazing mural that went up to celebrate the labor actions of cleaning women from the Portuguese community so many years ago. That movement was called Cleaners Action. Some of you here know what I'm talking about. And it was just a really important moment in my community, which is still about 25%, mostly Portuguese speaking people. And it was really a powerful speech you gave. You connected so incredibly with everybody who was there. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And thanks also to Melissa. I was at that phone zap and it was amazing. And congrats to everybody elected tonight, to the executive members and the delegates. Melissa, I am so thankful for the work that you are all doing. I'm supposed to talk, I know, about public education, and I'm going to do that, but because I think it's so critical right now. But I want to take this a step further by saying right off the top that I think that what we've seen for the last almost 4 years was Ford Light. And what happens next after June 2nd is the real deal. If they are reelected again, we are going to see, I am absolutely confident, massive privatization, cuts, and yes, to our public education system gutting. And we need to do something now. But we can't fall into the trap of letting the Liberals pull us into their privatization by stealth. And I'm going to talk more about that in a second, because there are few public services more essential at the most basic level than our public education system. And it has been a real privilege to be able to work as the education critic for these really important 4 years alongside amazing labor organizers. I actually do come out of the labor movement as well, but folks like Vanessa Stobie and everybody at York Communities for Public Education and everyone else here who's here tonight who have done just extraordinary work. You know, I'm not going to go over what we saw happen over the last 4 years, because I think you all remember it well, right? The rollbacks to sex ed curriculum, the cancellation of Indigenous curriculum writing, then that attempt to fire 10,000 teachers and education workers. We've had so many fights. It almost seems like a different reality from where we are today. But when you think back to how the Ford government demonized education workers and their unions and tried so hard to divide them from parents and from students, they failed. In fact, they got a whole lot more than they bargained for. And inside the legislature, while our unions, our sisters and brothers in the labor movement were out on the picket lines, New Democrats, we were inside the legislature hammering the government daily. And when we weren't inside fighting the good fight, we were out on the lines with the workers from ETFO, OSSTF, OECTA, AEFO, and among them also the CUPE education workers. Members from many other unions, you were there. And there was also unprecedented support from parents and students. And together we showed them that we are united and that when we work together, when workers have a strong voice inside the legislature to speak for them, we win. Because before, they went into that with massive cuts in mind and we pushed them back. But let me tell you, before the ink was even dry on those agreements, it hit. And I know I don't have to explain to any of you how much that has challenged all of us in every aspect of our lives. Here in Ontario, we had to get the government to protect schools, students, and the people who work there every step of the way. We haven't been able to take anything for granted. We've had a totally piecemeal approach. The inequities that already existed in education were not only exposed, but they were made worse. I will say, I think the one silver lining in all of this is that the value of education, of schools that are safe and open, and also the caring adults inside those schools there to support students, that has been renewed among the public. And so I think the government's in a very different position right now, but it hasn't stopped them because they never stopped cutting education, even in the middle of this. They cut actually in November, they closed schools again. Just before they did that, they announced shamefully another 500 million in cuts for this year. And they're also barreling along in their plan to bring in mandatory online learning for our students, which opens the door to privatization. So what I want to talk to you about now is that we're going to keep pushing them on all of those issues. We're pushing really, really hard along with with the unions and others and parents and students to keep our schools safe and safely open, and ultimately to defeat this government for the good of our kids, for our communities, for the future of the province. But as dangerous as this government is, we cannot forget that our education system was facing real challenges before they came to power. We had 15 years of Liberal governments, and they like to pretend they were like the great heroes of education, but under their time in government, class sizes were ballooning. Our schools were crumbling under a $15.8 billion repair backlog. And that's risen another billion under Ford. The Liberals took teachers and education workers for granted. They betrayed them with austerity budgets and the unconstitutional Bill 115. And let me say, their move to attack collective bargaining rights is still being paid for, because just yesterday, the government was finally ordered to pay up to the elementary teachers. Right on, about time. But I want to tell you, I believe that Bill 115 walked so Bill 124 could run. And I'd say it's time we stopped rewarding politicians who don't respect workers' rights and elect a government that's actually going to work for workers. We need change here. And as Melissa said, this June, we can actually get it. And I'm really proud of our team, the 40 of us who've been fighting for its agenda for the last few years, but also all the amazing candidates who are stepping up in their communities to run for the NDP. And every single one of them is committed to not just undoing the damage of Ford's education cuts, but of actually transforming our education system into one that's going to prepare our students for the world of tomorrow, that's going to make them engaged citizens and leaders and give them the tools to build a sustainable economy. It's about respecting the people who deliver education, the workers. We need a new relationship that brings people together instead of dividing them. It means not forcing kids into risky, isolating, remote learning. It means giving them more and smaller classrooms. It means more supports like educational assistants and child and youth workers and mental health workers. And we need to tackle that repair backlog and use that opportunity to create good jobs, retrofitting our public schools for a carbon-free economy. And I don't need to tell you this, we need real action to combat anti-Black racism and anti-Indigenous racism in the school system. And we need to support students with disabilities by overhauling how special education is funded. Finally, we need to deliver that $10 a day childcare for crying out loud. Friends, there's so much to do, but there's really never been a better chance, I think, for us to believe, to vote for what we really believe in. I've been a New Democrat for more than 30 years. I've been in the labor movement, worked hard in the labor movement for many years. I see us with a real opportunity in this moment, and I'm so excited about it. I think we can form a government that will truly be for the people. And I know as well, we cannot do it without you, our allies in the labor movement. So our 11 MPPs here in Toronto, we're going to need to keep our seats, but we have to pick up more. And I know you just talked about that. And I urge you, thank you so much for your support, for getting involved, for joining us on the hustings. Together, I really believe we're going to do great things, not just for education, but for all workers and for the province. Thank you.
Thank you, Merritt. Wow. I have to say that I think the answer is here. Melissa laid it out, and we're hearing from Merritt. And I know each of you tonight, if I ask each of you what is missing from the picture, why is it that we need to go out and get ready? And I'm not saying go vote, I'm saying get ready, because if you look back the last 2 years of the pandemic, where everyone was in a whole different mode and just trying to keep safe and fighting for respect, workers' respect, we are at a slower pace. And we have to make sure that no matter what happened in 2022, we are not getting past June 2nd saying that we were just keeping safe and let this person walk back into the seat. We can't have any excuse. As I said early on, if you go to the grocery store, if you get on the bus, if you get in the Uber, whatever you do, we have to risk it to stay, stay safe and put food on the table. And you have to make sure that June 2nd is a priority. June 2nd is a priority. We cannot continue having somebody who dangle the carrots when it's time for election. We cannot have somebody who remind us that even though it wasn't his time, he came and he stole things that workers fought for. He stole victories from community that went out there and fought to raise their wages. He stole sick days. He took away livelihood from a lot of workers out there. That is not a good person. And because of that, we have to make sure we don't lose sight that whatever benefit you collected when you got laid off, it wasn't for him. It's your money. He did not do any justice for any of you that you need to say you deserve a second chance. Just think of June 3rd. If you get up and still looking at something someone named Ford, then we lost. So we got the tool here. Melissa is ready to work with us to make sure that we get out there and do it. I think we need to feel excited that we're on the road to beat this. And if you're feeling excited, then for sure your co-workers and your members will get it. And then we can start fighting. So let us do that. We have a lot more time to talk about how we're going to win this. This is just the flavor of it, just out there tonight. So thank you very much, Merritt, for coming, and Melissa, thank you very much. I'm sure we're going to continue to update each other as we prepare for June 2nd. Okay, so on the next, I'm going to move on to on the agenda here, where the Labour Council also received a motion from UPSU Local 532. This motion called for endorsement of the May Day rally and march organized by the Labor Day Committee. The May Day event will start at Toronto's Nathan Phillips Square at noon and march to Queen's Park. The Executive Board has endorsed the May Day event. So when the time comes, I just want to at least say it now that we will wish everyone happy May Day. Absolute Local 532 also made a financial request about this event, and that part of the request is also moved over to the correspondent report. And by me saying so, I'm going to turn it over to Brother Abdi.
Thank you, Madam President. Happy Lunar New Year to all sisters and brothers and comrades, and congratulations of all the activists who put forward for the membership and community sake to work hard and be part of the Committee of Toronto New York Labour Council. So the first correspondence is a request from Brother Comrade Julius Ascott of Absolute Local 532 for a donation in the amount of $1,000 towards a May Day event. Executive Board moved it, seconded, and carried a motion to donate $100.
Okay. So we're gonna can we get the poll up so we could do a vote on the motion?
Yeah. Jennifer or Susan?
Okay. Do you support the motion? Yes, no, or abstain?
Five, four, three, two, one.
Thank you. Carried.
The second correspondence is request from Ontario Coalition of Better Childcare to renew our membership. Executive Board moved it, seconded, and carried a motion to renew at $100.
Okay. Do you support the motion? Yes, no? Or do you abstain?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Carried.
Sisters and brothers and comrades, the final correspondence is a request from Toronto firefighters to purchase an ad in their off-duty firefighter and media awards brochure. Prices are business card $200, quarter of a page $300, half a page $400, and full page $600. The fundraising is to support the efforts of Camp Buco, which is a camp for children who are burn victims. Executive Board moved it, seconded, and carried a motion to purchase a business card ad at a cost of $200.
Okay. Okay. Do you support the motion? Yes, no, abstain?
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, Jennifer. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, brother. Okay, so as I mentioned before, this is about election that we have to talk about election. And we heard about the plans that's kicking off for the provincial election, but municipal election is around the corner. This is in October, and it might look like it's close to the end of the year, but we have a lot of work to do to get prepped for that. This is very, very important for us to make sure that we are getting ready, getting organized to fight back. And with that, again, I'm going to ask Susan to take over to lead us through our election plan.
Thanks, Sister Andrea. As Andrea says, the Ontario election and Ford are top of mind, but pretty soon after June 2nd is going to come our municipal elections. So we'll be electing people to Toronto City Hall, Toronto District School Board, the Catholic School Board, 9 York regions, plus the entire York Region Council and school boards up in York Region. So it's going to be really important that we're ready to hit the ground running. We're going to give you a bit of a flavor of what our plans are tonight, and it takes the place of a statement as it did for the 2018 election. And we'll be coming back to talk to you more about what our plans are. But here is a quick flavor of what we're up to. Our plan outlines expectations and challenges, and hopefully you've had a chance to take a look through what we shared with you. We know we didn't give you a lot of time to read it today, but highlights are, as with 2018, we don't know that there's going to be a major progressive mayoralty campaign. So we'll be focusing in Toronto at the level of supporting council candidates and school board trustees. 25 council seats up for election in Toronto, which in some ways simplifies things. And we've got some good allies. There are going to be some vacancies, and some of them we absolutely have to fill because they are progressive people. In York Region, we're also going to be undertaking plans there, and in a minute we'll highlight what those strategic goals are going to be there. So here are our goals. Solidify the re-election of Labour endorsed candidates. We're talking here about Toronto. We want to retain the Labour-friendly folks that we've got and significantly increase the number of seats at Toronto City Council. Win a majority of seats at the Toronto District School Board. Increase the number of Labour-endorsed candidates in the Toronto Catholic District School Board. And in York Region, broaden the base of Labour-endorsed candidates. Now, we're going to focus there on the York Region Council and the school boards, but there may be some local elections where there are strong targets available, and we'll be aiming at them if we can. The road to achieving these goals. So the teams that we end up, there's a whole process that we go through with anybody, with any of the affiliates with a municipal connection, a really strong interview process to identify candidates who can be endorsed. And then we rely on the support of our affiliates and the support of the labor movement to make sure that those councillor and trustee candidates have got strong teams on the ground. And then we work back through unions, through you, to make sure that there's communication with your members about the people that the labor movement has helped to endorse. So we'll be putting this before you tonight for approval. And then, as I said, we'll be coming back to you as our plans shape up a bit further. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Is there anyone that would like to speak on the action plan? Go ahead, Sister Vanessa.
Thank you so much, Andrea, and I want to congratulate you for being a strong leader on Black History Month. Definitely an inspiration to many of us. I just want to start with it on Black History Month. Rosemary Brown said, "We must open the doors, we must see to do if they remain open so that others can pass through." The reason I want you to endorse this today is because this is a strong action plan with some bold pieces to it. Coming from York Region, I can say that definitely we need progressive candidates. We need labor-friendly candidates. And as Merritt Stiles said really well and very poignantly, we need trustees that believe in publicly funded education. We need them to understand what workers need, not to talk the talk, but to walk the walk. I think also importantly, COVID has shown us, has pulled back the curtain on some of the incredible injustices that have been around for decades: racial injustice, class injustice, climate injustice. And I feel that this plan really speaks to some of this and really gives us the ability to look for people who will support, I would like to say, publicly funded education, but not only that, workers. And workers, need to unite in order to make this happen. So henceforth, let's make this happen. And I would love for us to endorse this plan at 100%. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Brother Alim, and then Julius.
So just quickly, I was fortunate enough last municipal election to be put on the election committee, where I got to actually sit down with the candidates who were running for Labor and the ones that we had endorsed. It was a very eye-opening process. And I didn't realize how many people Labor lives in the city. And this is our opportunity to have our voice heard. Listen, a lot of us are going into collective bargaining, and we're not just fighting with our employers. We need these progressive city councilors to back us, and they need to know that we have a voice. And if they're not going to align with us, then we won't align with them. And this is how we change progressive politics and get those right councilors elected, so that when we do go into collective bargaining or things of COVID, labor, workers, our needs are looked after. And this is an important thing that we need to get behind. So I strongly encourage that we endorse this. Thank you.
Thank you. Brother Arscott?
Thank you. Julius R. Scott, Executive Board Member, Officer Region 5 and Vice President Local 532. I've got some concerns with this campaign. I don't really see this campaign being very fundamentally different from previous municipal campaigns that Labor Council has launched. In the past, Labor Council has endorsed candidates that were essentially liberals or other folks who are just looking, frankly, for career advancements. And when Labor has needed their help, they haven't really gone out of their way to help us. I mean, it's always easy to say, I'm a supporter of Labor. I need your support. Of course, all of these candidates want volunteers, but I think that Labor Council needs to start looking to the delegates, the people who actually participate in Labor Council, to run as candidates so that we have our own slate of candidates to run, because the status quo simply isn't working. There's a lot of issues that we need to deal with. The poverty, the wealth gap in the city is just ridiculous. Housing is a huge issue that continues to get worse. We need demands for defunding the police. We have a $1 billion a year budget in this city for the police. And we can't even guarantee that they can protect healthcare workers along Hospital Row on Saturday. They're telling them not to come into work to showing any visible identification so that the flu trucks convoy won't be a threat to them. I mean, how ridiculous is that? We need to shift our priorities, sisters, brothers, comrades, and I would urge folks to vote against it, just to send a message that we really need to look at things differently. The status quo isn't working. These aren't status quo times, and we need something different. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Brother Nigel.
Greetings and congratulations, President Babington. I still always reflect back on when I was a school teacher up in North Etobicoke, and you as a leader within Unite Here came up to our community and helped us fight back against the city when they were just trying to not pay, take good paying jobs away from us and not offer the training they should have in court. So I'm just so proud of how far you've come, and I look forward to being a soldier here in developing a working class movement. And it's why I stand to, I'm buoyed with the plan. I know how, I do recognize the plan. I've been part of it in the past. But this is an incredible moment that we're having. This is a watershed moment that we are at right now with the House of Labor. And the Toronto York Labor Council is the largest labor council in the country. We now have white supremacists and Nazis, along with anti-vaxxers, coming down to the city of Toronto this weekend. We have to start now talking to the very same people that they're recruiting away from us. And we need to make a plan that has us talking to each other. Electoral planning is just one part of it. It has to be, how do we deeply organize? And I do hope that after we have this conversation about this plan, about how to get rid of Ford on the 2nd, we walk back and say, what are we doing tomorrow to stop, for instance, what's happening on the right? We're being out organized, and we cannot let that happen any longer. Anyway, I'm looking forward to hearing the other comments about this plan. I'm looking forward to building with all of you to have I'm mad. We're all angry, right? I'm angry that we're not, that the rich are making even more money. These billionaires are making so much money. All of us as working people, we're the ones that are suffering. So we've got to make sure that we build our tent bigger. And I know that it starts here with this leadership, and it starts here with this conversation. So thank you, Sister Babington, and looking forward to hearing other comments.
Thank you, brother. Okay, Brother Ralph.
Yes, congratulations, Sister Babington, and congratulations to board members, all executive and members of the committees who elected tonight. I endorse the strategic plan. I think that sitting on the equity committee, I certainly would like labor-centered candidates to be represented for their community, for marginalized groups. The situation in Toronto is such that, as my previous comrades have spoken, the povertization that we see, the tilt in who has the opportunities. These are things that need to be alleviated, all from an equity lens and from a racialized lens as well. Housing is at an all-time unaffordable rate. Homelessness, transit. I live in Scarborough, and it's a problem. I understand there's some challenges with the LRT by the end of the year. There's going to be no LRT. What's going to happen to people who can't afford to own their own car? Many issues. You just have to look around through an equity lens. I like the strategic plan because it calls out labor-centered activists through an equity lens. Thank you, sister. Good night, and again, congratulations.
Thank you. So, am I missing any speaker? Or not? Okay. So
I don't see any further speakers.
I have no further speakers, so I think we have the poll up here.
I'll close the poll in 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Close. Carrie? Okay. Okay, so we are going to move on. I really appreciate you hanging in with us. We'll move on. I'm going to ask for CLC report from Sister Erlyn.
Thanks so much, President Andrea Babington. So I'm going to keep it a little shorter tonight because it's already been a really long night for everyone, but want to first honor that it is Black History Month. So really enjoyed the presentation from earlier this evening and all that the Labor Council is doing to honor what Black trade unionists have done to build the movement that we are in today and what they continue to contribute to this movement. Larry Rousseau, VP at the CLC, has a video to also outline some of the actions that the CLC is taking in order to address anti-Black racism. And to mark this month, the Canadian Labour Congress is hosting an online text rally on February 23rd at 1 p.m. We'll be texting Canadians and inviting them to take action and urge the government to combat anti-Black racism and support Black workers beyond Black History Month. So I'm going to put both of those links in the chat. I really hope to see you there. If you haven't done a text campaign with the CLC yet, it's super easy and we go through exactly how it's done. You'll have a short training and it's actually a lot of fun. So I really hope to see as many of you there as your schedule allows. I also wanted to just mention that the CLC officers are fairly newly elected. President B. Brusk is really making a point of trying to build up the labor councils and get affiliate participation. So she is doing a new round of encouraging heads of unions at the national level to affiliate at the labor council level. And they're also going to be planning going to each one of the labor councils so that you can get an opportunity to get to know her better. So I'll be coordinating that with Andrea in the coming weeks. So you can know that that's on the horizon as well. And I really want to take a moment. We did talk last month, but it's going to be something that we'll be talking about every month. I'm so glad to hear what Melissa said. The plan that the OFL has for this provincial election is so sound and so strong, and it's because affiliates, members came together and we debated on it. We amended and then ultimately voted on it at the OFL convention, and it has a ground strategy, a social media strategy, an air strategy. So there's plenty of ways for each and every one of us to get involved in having these conversations at our workplaces, with our friends and family, with our networks, because that's the only way that we're going to win, is if we're emboldened and empowered to share why we are voting the way we are, because workers are angry with what this poor government has given us and the state that we're in today. So please do get involved. More and more information will be coming to the labor councils with what we can each be doing at our local level, in our workplaces as a labor council. So I'm really looking forward to working with each and every one of you as we get closer and closer to that election date to vote Ford out of office. So again, just thanks to Melissa for all the hard work on that, and really looking forward to working with the Labor Council in the 2 elections that we have this year. That's it for me tonight.
Thank you. Next, council project report. I think Sister Judith. Sister Judith, are you on? Okay. And then as I'll call for other committee reports. And union report.
I see Laura's hand up, Laura Thompson,
Sorry,
for
Laura.
committee reports.
Okay, all good. Thank you, Andrea. And yes, hello everyone. Laura Thompson, OPSU Local 503, reporting on behalf of the Women's Committee. So I want to start just quickly saying congratulations to everyone who was elected tonight. For those who reoffered, thank you for reoffering. For those who joining us for the first time, welcome. We look forward to working with you. And to those folks who are outgoing, thank you for the work you've given over the last 2 years. Very quickly, just so folks know, obviously, we are gearing up for International Women's Day. In Toronto, we have a tradition of having the largest International Women's Day in North America. So that will continue, although continue virtually, on March 5th at 1 p.m. So there is a save the date card that's circulating on Facebook, and we'll certainly let you, and certainly we'll let you know as that goes forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Anita.
Yes, thank you very much, President Andrea Babington. Congratulations to you and the nominations. Sisters, brothers, comrades, I'm very sad to report that our employer, the College Employer Council, has imposed a forced offer vote February 15th and 17th for faculty, librarians, and counselors at all 24 Ontario colleges. The employer is not negotiating, not coming to the table. The employer has been using very aggressive union busting campaigns in their communications. We definitely need your help because we have been work to rule since December, and we need our allies after we win this rejection vote. We feel very positive that our union members are going to be in solidarity and say no to the employer. In the interim, I'm going to ask you to please, in solidarity, sign the petition. I'll put the link in the chat to all college presidents as an ally to voice your opinion and in solidarity. I want to thank you in advance and in solidarity.
Thank you. Any other report? Okay, I'm making my last. Oh,
Andrea, I see Sister Judith with a report, I
Hey.
believe, from Labor Community Services.
Okay, sorry, I think the hand is mixed up with the backdrop there. Go ahead.
Thank you, President. Yes, I'm having trouble with my audio tonight. I'm here as newly executive board member of the Labor Council, and I am also the Secretary Treasurer of the Labor Community Services. And I'm here to remind everybody about the Advocate Training Program, Level 1, that's starting. Many of my classmates are here tonight. Since I last spoke to you, I have completed Level 2 and Level 3, and there's hard bargaining going on for Level 4. But I encourage all members on this call tonight to reach out to your unions to encourage people to take this seminar. It is held virtually, making it easier to be able to get to class. It's a commitment from February the 16th to April 27th, 2022. And the comments that came back from our recent conclusion of Level 3 were Najib creates such a safe space to be able to have the very difficult conversations, and also providing you with the tools and the words that you need in order to support your members. We have people who attend the training who are not elected members, they're union members, and the knowledge that they gain as a union member and the solidarity that they feel of the union movement really comes forward. So I encourage you to reach out and check in the email that was sent out to all of us to have people sign up and register and enjoy the evenings like Janice and I have with Najib over the past years. And I can't say enough about how uplifting this is and how powerful Najib is in delivering the content. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, and I think that's, I don't see any more speaker. So before we go, I am gonna ask Susan to also, with all this heavy conversation that we're having tonight, I think before we get off, I see Brother David, you have your hand up.
Thank you, Sister Andrea. I was waiting, I thought, for the union reports. I didn't want to intervene on the committee reports.
Okay.
So congrats to everybody today, and let's all show our solidarity with OPSU Community College teachers. But tonight, David Kidd, QP 79, I'm just doing a quick report from the Toronto Workers History Project. On February 16th, we are doing a presentation on the civil rights movement in Toronto from 100 years ago. We're going to be doing the history of the UNIA in Toronto, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, which was an international movement that started with a Jamaican activist, Marcus Garvey, and had a proud following in Toronto. They had buildings in our city. The Brotherhood of the railway workers had their offices there, educational campaigns. They were the lead organizers of the Emancipation Day campaigns in Ontario. And so I just want to invite you all to the event on February 16th at 7 p.m. And thank you all for your time, and congrats to all those who have been elected tonight.
Thank you, brother. So again, while we're wrapping up, just the tension and all the things that's out there, sometimes we have to rest our mind and just relax. And part of that is to end this meeting with the perfect song change is going to come. And just remember that change that we're looking for, we have to be a part of it. We have to lead it. We have to go knock up the neighbors to get it done. So enjoy the music, everybody, before you get off, but also spend some time, take a look at the chat. There's a lot of things in the chat there that I think Brother Nigel posts, Apsu posts. Don't forget to sign on to the petition, sisters and brothers. Let's do our solidarity support whatever way we can. And the chat have a lot of information that you can support. Go ahead, Skylar.
I was born
was something way beyond that cloud. It's been a long time coming. Lord, I know the change is gonna come. Oh, yes, it is. Then I go to my brother.